Bell Time by Sophie Tuvey, Chapter 27. David's office is very corporate. He's sitting behind a desk and indicates for us to sit at a board table with large chairs around it. His suit is a sharp-cut, charcoal grey, and his hair is immaculately in place as always. I can feel him staring at me, evaluating my red eyes, though I've done my best to clean myself up and calm down. Jen, is something wrong? He speaks as though he is a caring head teacher, and we have these kind of conversations regularly. I just observed Miss Baker with the Year 11 boys class, the inspector says. I'm very concerned by what I witnessed. They are harassing her. He raises his eyebrows and then looks at me. Yes, I've heard that you've been having some problems with the boys group. It's clear what he's trying to say. I'm having problems with the group, no one else is. Therefore, the problem is me. This group is also taught by Michael Chase, one of our lead practitioners. David addresses the inspector. Perhaps we can arrange some team teaching to offer Jen some more support. I glower at him. I have a meeting now. The inspector stands to leave, but I want to see that this has been dealt with appropriately, David. With a pointed look at him, she walks out. David and I lock stares. Tyler Kotz has found out where I live and is threatening to come to my flat. His fixed expression wavers and he blinks. I win the stare contest. When did he make this threat? This afternoon. I hand him the paper note. This is your address? David asks, examining the scrap. How did he find it? He saw me get off a bus outside my flat. He didn't see me go in, but he must have found out which one is mine. When you say he threatened to come to your flat, when did he do this? Earlier on, he made a comment to me in the yard. David asks for what he said, the exact words. I repeat it for him. He stares at the note again. Can you prove that he wrote this note? I think it's highly likely, given the comment he made on the yard. Perhaps this is just an unfortunate coincidence. He makes a gesture as if to say, these threats, they just seem to happen. He'd take a different attitude if it was his address. I don't think so. My tone is getting more abrupt. Shall I call the police? David winces. That would be a bit difficult. Why? I press. You can't stop me calling them. No, he concedes. Maybe I should speak to Matt Myers. Am I meant to go home and wait for Tyler to turn up on my doorstep? What do I do then? My voice is rising and I can feel my eyes burning again. Don't cry. Don't cry. If he does actually turn up, David doesn't sound convinced, then you can call the police, naturally. I shake my head. I hope you can at least punish him, at the very least a suspension. This isn't a great time for that. David looks annoyed. Don't you understand how stressful this is for me? Damn it, my voice cracks. I'm hoping my anger will make my tears evaporate. My face is hot enough to emit steam anyway. Maybe you should take a few days off to recover then. David has a glint in his eye. I know what he's saying. If I take a few days off, I'll miss the HOD interviews. He pretends to look away at his screen with an air of nonchalance. Typical. He blanks me when I arrive because I remind him of an inconvenient moment in his career when he was just starting out and not at the top of the tree. He makes inappropriate comments to me just to unsettle me, along with his thinly veiled threats and manipulations. He wants Michael at his beck and call, so he tries to split us up. Now that I need him to do something, he's playing it cool as though he has nothing to lose. I'm not backing out of the job application, I say with gritted teeth. David shrugs. Hopefully you're not too traumatized then. He leans back in his chair. But then again, perhaps you want Michael to give you the sympathy card so that he does exactly what you want. Blinded by tears, I stumble out into the corridor, nearly bumping into someone. Jen, what's wrong? It's Michael. Just coming to give your daily report, were you? I sneer, my usual sharp delivery somewhat ruined by my snotty nose. He reaches out to me, but I draw back, stepping away. Don't! I'm fueled by a new wave of pure rage. Just because I'm crying, you're here to rescue me again? It feels like you want me to be an emotional wreck so that you can be the strong one. I'm barely thinking what I am saying, but as the words ring in the air, I realise they've landed. Michael looks like I've just punched him in the gut. I don't need you, I enunciate venomously. Stay away from me. It's a killing blow, but as I walk out, my victory feels hollow. In my flat later, I'm trying to focus on my lesson plan and interview notes, but I've read the same sentence 6 times and I'm not taking anything in. The reality is, I'm sitting tensely on my sofa, looking at the clock every 5 minutes, waiting for Tyler and possibly a few drug dealers to turn up. Michael tried to call. I didn't answer. Katie sends a "good luck for tomorrow" text. I reply, "Tyler knows my address. I think he may come here tonight." It takes about 30 seconds before my phone starts ringing. "Hi, Katie. What the Thomas Jefferson are you doing?" "Just waiting to see if Tyler turns up. I told David, and he wouldn't do anything. He's just going to use this against me in the interview tomorrow." "You're not playing Poirot, Jen," she says crossly. "Why don't you just call the police?" "That's what I'm going to do, if he turns up." The sound of voices in the street carries over, and I stand at the edge of the window, peeking through the curtain. Looks like a fight is starting. I can see a tall boy in his late teens with 2 other boys with him, shouting at someone. "Told you not to live near the shops." Suddenly, the tall boy grabs him and pulls him up roughly, twisting him to the side. I can see the kid's face clearly under the orange glow of the lamppost. "Miss Baker!" he shouts. He's calling me for help. "It's Tyler," I blurt to Katie. "Gotta go." I hang up and my fingers tremble as I call the police. After I've made the call, I hear Tyler call my name again. The fear and pain in his voice cuts my heart. I can't sit here while he gets attacked. He needs me. I run out into the street. "Stop!" I shout. 2 of the boys run off, leaving 2 holding Tyler. "You're not our teacher," one of them scoffs. "I just want to speak to Tyler." I'm so aware of how precarious this situation is, but I need to keep him safe. I can see Tyler's face. He looks so young and fragile. It makes it almost funny to think I was sitting in my flat, scared of him turning up. "Come on, Tyler, let's go inside the chip shop," I say, ignoring the other boys. "Go!" someone shouts from behind me. The 2 boys drop Tyler and sprint off. He steadies himself and avoids my gaze. "Come on," I say. I've never been so glad of the bright strip lighting and Sam's presence. The shop has a queue of customers, so I usher Tyler to sit in the waiting area. I just want him to look at me so we can have a proper conversation. "Tyler." He looks resigned to whatever I'm going to say. "Are you in trouble with those boys?" His eyes shift, and he doesn't say anything for a moment. "If you tell me, I might be able to help." He shakes his head. "Did you leave a note on my desk?" He finally looks at me. "I wanted to warn you." At that moment, 2 police officers step into the chip shop. Tyler jumps up. "You called them!" he accuses. "You look like you were in trouble." "We'd just like to speak to you for a moment," one officer says. "Is there a back room we could use?" the other officer asks Sam. They escort Tyler through the side door behind the counter. For a painful moment, I remember Michael's enthusiasm when we were away to dive into restraining a criminal. If he was here, he would be trying to involve himself as much as possible. Before I can linger on the mix of emotions this provokes, another 2 officers arrive. I turn and walk towards the door, but I don't want to leave Tyler. "I made the call," I tell them. "Do you want to take us to your flat?" the officer asks. As I lead them, my mind races to reinterpret the scenario. "I think I got this all wrong," I say. "He said he was trying to warn me." "Warn you? About what?" "I don't know. I don't think he's done anything wrong." Then I stop in my tracks. The door to my flat is open. The officers enter first and beckon me in after doing a quick sweep. I step inside tentatively, looking all around the room for any signs of movement, but everything is quiet and still. "It doesn't look disturbed," the officer comments. I assess the room, and it's as we left it. except for one thing. My laptop's gone. My interview is tomorrow, and I have no laptop. I sink onto a chair. I'm numb, and I can vaguely hear the officer asking, "Is there someone you can call?" It's that moment when I think of Michael that I start to cry. I'm single again. The one item of value in my slummy flat has been stolen, and this is not how I wanted my life to be. "Jen!" My dad bursts through the door. "What's going on?" he asks, looking from me to the police officers. "Are you a relation?" the officer asks. "Yes, that's my daughter." My heart swells to hear these words. For the first time in years, my dad sits next to me and wraps his arms around me. All the distance, all the pain is suddenly burnt up in this feeling of being held, of being someone's daughter. I didn't even know I had lost it. "Katie rang me," he says. "What happened?" I stutter through an account of the evening while an officer takes notes. The other one sweeps the flat for fingerprints. "Is this a security camera?" he asks. "Yes," I answer. At least I have something to thank Michael for. I overhear snatches of conversation on the police radios as the other officers feed back information from Tyler. "They wanted your student to steal your laptop," the female officer tells me. "When he refused, they started beating him up to create a diversion." I fell for it. I brush my tears out of my face and blow my nose for the 6th time. I just wanted them to stop hurting him. "You did what you could," she reassures me. "You put yourself at risk to help him. That was brave." When he called my name, the tears well up again. I just wanted to take him home and make sure he was safe. "We're going to get him home and speak to his family," she says. "You just need to contact your insurance and we'll keep you updated if we find your laptop. I think you will need a new one though." "Thank you very much for your help," my dad says, showing them to the door. He walks back and looks at me. "What do you want to do now?" It's a simple question, and I'm surprised at how clear the answer forms in my head before I speak it. "I want to come home."